And with me today, I have Ivana Kerr, who is a powerhouse of resilience and transformation,
Mm.
proving that even the darkest chapters can lead to the most inspiring comebacks. A solo mom who once left everything behind to escape a relationship that no longer served her, Ivana rebuilt her life from scratch, starting in a woman's refuge with just one suitcase and her baby. Today, she is not only a thriving entrepreneur with a six-figure business, but also a life and transformation coach dedicated to empowering other women on their healing and self-discovery journeys. Welcome to the show, Ivana. I absolutely love what you're about.
Thank you. It sounds nice when you just put it in like a one sentence and there is the happy ending. So thank you for making it into such a powerful and impactful intro for myself. Very appreciate it.
I love it. You are the powerhouse, and I can't wait to get stuck into your journey of, success. I mean, it it obviously didn't start like that. What actually happened, if you can take us back to the moment that you realized that you needed to
Mhm.
leave the relationship. Mm.
Yeah, so I actually had two major relationships in my life. So the first one was marriage in 2017, and from this marriage, I have one child. It's a girl who is now 6, but the relationship had its ups and downs, and probably on a layer of the COVID challenges we all been through in 2020, the relationship came to an end and we separated. So I started looking for another chapter, and to a certain point, I feel like I repeated my own story. So a little bit of a clue to how to untangle myself from some dynamics was the fact that I felt like I've been here. I feel like I'm repeating some even arguments or some feelings or some stuckness or some patterns in my life. So it was now 2021. I found my soulmate and someone really awesome. The first year was just honeymoon phase. I got pregnant again. So I have another baby girl who is now turned 2. And then started challenging up and downs of the relationship again. And for a long time, I was trying to lean in with more love. And, if your mindset is kind of one way, that all the information which is coming to you from podcasts, books, I kind of already filtered through your view of the world. So all I could hear and see is like, you're not a void and a toucher, like lean in, don't give up, this will be okay. This is just a temporary discomfort, you're going through a lot. So I was pregnant and like early baby or like a newborn baby. And I now see, looking back, that my reality was kind of under a veil. I could not see the reality because, well, we as in these tender parts of our life are wired not to rock the boat too much. So I was not trying to, cause arguments or expose myself and my children to, yeah, just harm or conflict. So I was avoiding difficult conversations, and over, it got more and more present in my life, and I realized I'm avoiding difficult conversation, and I'm trying to, be smaller and smaller, people pleasing, and this dynamic was stronger and more in my face. So started learning how to get myself out of it, and the more I try to, let's say, be assertive, put some boundaries down, that's when I realize nothing is working and the relationship is doomed to be ended. So there was a part in my life where I was looking to prepare myself for that exit, because it's not easy. We're like with the young children, we're very vulnerable overseas by myself. I was born in the Czech Republic, but now I'm based in Australia, so no family or support in here. So it was difficult to make that final call, and that part is difficult for a lot of women in similar situations. So I acknowledge everyone who is in that situation, and not for everyone the end of ending the relationship is the answer. For some is strengthening themselves, for some is to stay in and work slowly, or become stronger, or negotiate more boundaries. So not everyone has to have the same strategy as I have. So I want to acknowledge everyone who is there, and it is difficult. Everyone's a specific, everyone's unique. So don't feel like, the end is coming and I have to pack my bags. It's not the same for everyone. So I just want to spell it out. But for me, closer and closer, I could feel like that is the only answer to my situation. And I empowered myself and make that step to unknown. It was harder and harder because there's also this part, I don't know if it won't trigger anyone, but post-separation abuse, or, once things escalate, like it becomes even faster because you try to assert your rights or your power, your independence. And sometimes the dynamic is so strong that even after separating, you still have to endure some of these aspects of it. So that's what I experienced. And it was to the point that I had to find refuge and leave everything behind and just, find a safety with the kids. So that was my story of the hard parts. But even going through the refuge, I felt that I'm doing the right steps. Like finally, I felt like I have clarity over the fog, because that was that resistance to like, oh my God, this will be a big fall. Like, I don't know where to go. But all of a sudden, when I was in that situation and walking that new start, I didn't let myself to fall mentally into like, oh, poor me, I will, have nowhere to live. I was determined I will keep my mindset positive. And I knew why I'm doing this. I had that big why. Like, I'm walking towards the safety, I'm walking towards freedom and independence. And this is just one stop on my journey. I didn't let myself to be the end, like that step of like being homeless. So I hold myself every day with that thought, like, this is something bigger. I'm doing something which is hard, but this is not the end stop. So yeah, that was what held me high or hopeful in those darkest parts or darkest days of my
Wow. Yeah.
journey. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow.
And there I could also feel the calling, because I was so high on that hopeful part inside of me. I could also notice that I'm also almost observing myself walking through it. And there I realized I'm on this journey as a witness. And if I experience it, I will be able to share how to walk through it with others. So it wasn't only for me, but it was also for sharing how I've done it. And that was very, very interesting. That was the first time I tapped into that, like, intuition or something bigger than myself in my life. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, during that whole process, what kind of obstacles did you face and how did you overcome them?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the homelessness was a big one. So I actually had to go through like some institution, a lot of calling, a lot of forms to fill. And while you have, children with you, I still try to manage like, there is practically a lot of steps I have to do. But at the same time, I try to be present as a mum and feel present with my children, play with them, and not fall into stress and crying and despair, because they will feel it from me. Only recently, I actually realized that I've been trying to hold myself together so much that only when I reach the safety and the safe space, I could let go of that. And yeah, together, I feel like I could heal myself and my family, because children can sense all of those things from you. So I felt like I did a lot of that heavy lifting for them and try to be, playful, still going to playground, have the same routine. I did a lot of walking, and just to keep us, happy, occupied, busy, and focusing on a normal daily things rather than like, oh, leave me alone, I have so much to do. Like, so yeah, that was hard, and I tried to manage it as best as I could. I also had help, so it wasn't all on myself. I did have therapists, and I did reach out to friends for a lot of um, let's say the immediate help, like hand me down clothes for my babies from my mother's group source and things like that. And there's been great support between the moms. There was always the sense of I'm not alone. So that's been a big part of overcoming that difficult situation. Mm-hmm.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so what kind of patterns did you notice in yourself during the process? And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's an excellent question. Yeah, definitely. So I think the step one on the healing on or recovery or catching yourself is that awareness. And
Mhm.
sometimes we judge ourselves or escape from the pain of like, oh, if this is true, I'm stuck, or that's a nice word for it. So we sometimes resisting to see that. So the awareness is step one. So my awareness was around that dance of submissive, being too submissive, not stepping in my power, being scared of conflict. So that was one of the first one I noticed as I'm not bringing up anything I dislike. I'm not bringing up my needs. I was, and now I don't want to blame my parents, but I was scared to even say I have needs. So I grow up in the environment and felt that's normal. That I'm like, oh no, that's okay, nothing for me. And even if, let's say, we sit down for a cafe, I would order for everyone, but not for myself. So I always put myself last. And through my learning and healing journey, I realized how important it is to not to forget the one human being I am responsible to look after, and that's me. Of course, now I'm responsible also for my children because they physically can't do it for themselves. But this one is also here with me, this body, and I have to be really kind and really affectionate and present with my body too. So that was a big learning for me because I noticed the pattern of forgetting about how important I am in the dynamic as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, that happens, doesn't it? People pleasing and
Yeah.
putting ourselves last. So I suppose with that, did you notice the patterns were from something, from childhood? Was it,
Mm-hmm.
something that was conditioned, that you learned off your mom or somebody?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah, it tricks down. And that's a big part of what I do now and what is my passion because we do learn the most while we 0 to or maybe even in a womb with our mums. From that time till about 7, of course, we keep developing and growing, but a lot of those times really do affect how we are at the moment. And even more difficult is to realize what we learned when we were not verbal, because a lot of the times before you understand the language and can, let's say, describes your feelings or describe your patterns, you have just a body sensation or experience of, let's say, discomfort or some pressure, but you can't put it in words and you don't even know what it is you kind of feeling or experiencing, because if you don't have the vocabulary or the ability to describe it because you experience it when you are pre-verbal, it's really, really difficult to fix it or heal it or bring your awareness to it. So this part became my big passion, and then because I healed myself through this journey, now I feel like I can tap into other people's situations, and I become certified in modality which is called root cause therapy, which is helping people to be able to go through those even times where you were not verbal. So we just experience it in your body and realize, why is this showing up in my body? So if I can give you an example,
Yeah,
this
please.
is a simple one. If an adult wouldn't buy a child an ice cream and the child feels I don't deserve this. Something's wrong with me in that moment. Like it could be anything. I'm not worthy of receiving love from my caregiver, right? We don't have to say who it is, caregiver. Uh, then in that moment, you create that imprint. I'm not worthy of receiving. And if it shows up again, 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 you're just strengthening that sensation, that experience in you, and it just shows up again, 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 and until you untangle it, until you actually aware of it, that this is coming again, again, again. Like I always hit this feeling or this frustration or this sensation in my body, that it's really hard to work with it. So again, the step one is the awareness, and then you can track it down with a therapist or with some help, and realize what happened on that original day. And if you have someone who is empathetic and can heal you properly, you realize in that day you misunderstood that situation. It wasn't that you're not worthy. It was maybe just, it was a cold day and your dad didn't want to buy you ice cream because he said it's inappropriate for the weather. So it wasn't about your worthiness. It was about the whole situation. And if you today can understand in depth what happened there, and it's not about you, you heal all the other situations in your life, and you no longer look at the world through that filter or with that limiting belief. So that become my work and how I serve to my clients today.
Excellent. Wow. Thank you so much. And you've done a lot
Mm-hmm.
of energy work as well, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I realized like I'm very sensitive and in tune with how the energy works and how it's present in our body, how we can make it more flow through us rather than stuck. So that is a big part of the experience as well. So yeah,
Oh,
it
fantastic.
goes
Yeah,
all hand in hand.
it does. Yeah, yeah. And so what kind of energy work do you do? Reiki, do you do?
And I don't work with the modality, like energy modality as such. So it's more like the um energy you feel in your body. So putting names to it, color, sensation, texture. So the energy work is how your body experience, where it gets stuck or where it, you feel tension, tiredness. So I call that energy, and we'll try to make it flow through your body rather than being attached to one part of your body. So that somatic experience in inside of you.
Yeah. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's great. And so what do you think from obviously all the
Mm-hmm.
women that that you work with,
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
are the common challenges that women actually face after a separation, breakup, or a
Mm-hmm.
divorce? And how do you actually
Mm-hmm.
help them to navigate that because it's such a challenging time for them?
Yeah, it is. And the challenge comes through the fact that it changes our perspective or understanding of all three timelines: the past, the future, and the present time. So it affects how we all of a sudden look back, because it was maybe 20 years marriage, or even if it was 2 months relationship, you all of a sudden go back. It's like, was it even true? Did he love me? Like you kind of question what was the past. So it's really tricky to go and kind of going, did I said that right? Was it me? So you go back and rewriting or like trying to dig in your memory
Mm.
if it was true or false, because all this time I fell in love. Now all of a sudden someone tells me it wasn't. So what was it? Sometimes it's really tricky to go back. It also tricky because all of a sudden we have to rewrite our future. We had plans together, maybe holidays, or maybe you just had the dream already built in your mind as how you want the future to be with this person, and now it's broken, it's not there. So going to future and kind of have someone to say like, oh, imagine your dream life, like it doesn't work either, because you don't even know where to start. Your dream was that person or that relationship to continue. So it's really hard to go to future. So that's another challenge we have. We lost the dreams, we lost the hope. And the present is probably the most painful of all. So it depends on where in your grieving cycle you are, but it is very, very tricky. And sometimes we're not even used to feeling such a strong feeling, such a strong and deep pain. And sometimes we really do need someone else to process it with and hold us in that pain and be patient with us. So we could either disconnect or feel numb because it's really hard to be present with that discomfort. So we go, into another relationship, movies, shopping, it doesn't matter what it is, but the escapism is very often women face post breakup or divorce. They get themselves busy with a career, with the ones who has children has no 5 minutes like alone to think about themselves or to process grief. So that's a unique challenge as well. And another thing I notice, which is very common, is the loss of sense of who is me, who I am, who am I? Because in a relationship, you had certain certainty of who you are, like how is the dynamic, what do I do in the evenings, and all of a sudden that all is gone. So you have to kind of find a new routine, new sense of self. And very connected to this is a confidence, which is feeling very low after breakup or divorce. So this is one of the first we're trying to recover and kick back up with tools and strategies, because that is what then brings up the spark in you, and you can start building on that self sense and self confidence as how to feel better about yourself and the future. And yeah, it's really nice if you can do it with someone who's been through it, who is at the same time kind of patient and empathetic and hears you for all that happens and all that venting you have to do, and at the same time has the strategy and tools to be able to tell you how. And yeah, I love to do it. So sometimes I do the confidence as a smaller workshops, which you can access for free. I love to do this as a giving back to community or people who are interested. So for example, the confidence is one of the ones which people resonate with post breakup, because we all feel like, oh, what happened to you? It was me. Maybe I did something wrong. So we blame ourselves, and we have to untangle this feeling as a first one. And shame is a big one. So if I would mention to another thing, which is very common for women who did experience the separation or divorce, the sense of it was my fault, I did something wrong, and they sit in the shame alone and isolate themselves. That is very common. So if anyone who is listening to us today feels in that space, the antidote or the step out of the shame is always to share your story with someone who you trust. It could be a trusted friend. It could be a therapist if you're not in a space where you can share that story. It could be a family member. But again, make sure you're safe and that is a person who you feel will listen and hold the space for you. So you can try to test it in the smaller doses. But the most important thing is to share the story, because the shame keeps telling us you alone, this is embarrassing, stay alone, don't tell anyone. Then the world goes so small on us. But we have to do the opposite, and the kind of counterintuitive step is to tell someone, and then you realize and you're not alone. There's so many others. And in this world, the relationship is not for whole life. Most of the time 50% of the relationship do end, and in between there are a shorter relationship. So the possibility to resonate with someone who did experience separation is very high. There's a lot of people who had to go through the same, well, not same, but who can understand you, who can validate your feelings, and who can give you maybe some kind advice as well along the way. So yeah, you're not alone. That was my message.
Oh, thank you. No, that's great. And so how do you balance being a solo mom with running a successful six-figure business?
It's not easy. And well, there's a cycle all women experience, and I realize I have to be gentle to myself. And I also learn over time, when I'm tired, it means rest. It doesn't mean go and get coffee. So I'm trying to sync more with what my body is telling me and not try to override those messages and intuitions which are coming through as if I'm tired, that means rest. It doesn't mean fight harder or do more. And the other really big piece of advice which I've received lately and try to live is, we feel exhausted if we plan too much for ourselves for the day. And then we kind of have this energetic feeling of like, I haven't done what I'm supposed to. But if your mind is very active and you go like, then I have to do this and this and this and that, and then the podcast, and I have to write 3 articles, and my workshop is like, that is too much. You only narrow down your thinking to what you can achieve in one day. And tomorrow is another day for another project. But if you keep thinking about like the whole year's project, then every time you go to bed, you feel like, well, I haven't done that yet. I feel like I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But if you narrow your thinking down to what you can achieve in one day, then at the end of the day, you don't feel like you're failing or you're not doing enough. So I'm trying to not expect too much from myself, in sense of there is tomorrow, and I things which doesn't have to be done tomorrow or today, I can um, think about a little bit later. I don't have to exhaust myself and my brain with working details of big projects like right now. So stick to what is important today, and bringing myself back to the present moment, because kids are growing so fast, and if you're not present with them while they're little, it just goes even faster. So I am consciously trying to slow down, notice them, be there with them. And even if it's just 20 minutes, you actually force yourself down and spend that 20 minutes with that eye contact, listening, and attunement of what they're interested in, where they're up to. You have a sense of they're important. I'm doing it for them. They're here now and they're little now. They need me now. So I always try to ground myself and realize that this time is very precious and most important. And yeah, if I don't spend the time with them on the rug daily, then the time will go just too fast. So yeah, it's extremely important, and we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. Yeah, the present moment. So if you, active listener and present with your children, then you're already an awesome parent.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said, that it does only take, 20 minutes of just being fully present. And I just feel like it's those kind of 20 minutes that are going to be the most valuable, times. And I guess that's the time that's how our children will then remember us, the fact that, oh, mama and dada, give me some time,
Yeah.
rather than just constantly being busy, being stuck in the past or the future. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they know, don't they? They know when we're not there with them. They're clever.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are.
Beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, any words of wisdom for any mamas out there who are looking to pursue their dreams but just feel so overwhelmed with where to begin?
Yes. For me was creating the time for myself, because all of us already feel stretched out, and I feel like I don't even have 5 minutes. How can I build a business? So that's where I started. I was like, this little baby, and they nonstop on me, with me. How do I create myself 5 minutes? That was impossible. How can I find myself 10 hours a week? Like, that's even more unreal idea. So you have to start slow and literally stretch the time, because the time is relative. And that's where I started. It's like time and money is relative. Sometimes $10 buy you, rarely, I speak dollars, you have a different currency, um, a lunch. But other times you have $10 and you can, I don't know, have hour for a whole family, for a beautiful entrance to a beautiful place, and that's for half a day or all day. So it's relative what money can buy. It's relative
True.
what time you can, how you can spend. So sometimes 10 minutes so long, and sometimes 10 minutes goes so fast. So it's down to our attention and intention, And I intentionally try to create pockets in my day of like stretching it. And I said, it's okay, it's just 5 minutes, but I can do a lot with 5 minutes. And I stretch it to 10 minutes, and it's okay. I can drop her off 5 minutes later or earlier and just create that 5 minutes. And slowly, slowly, I was stretching the time because as his mum, we also feel big discomfort not being with our children. And I felt enormous amount of guilt. And if someone told me like, oh, just leave her there for 8 hours, I was just in a panic. I was just like, what? Not seeing her for 8 hours? And my body was experiencing that discomfort of not being with her for that long. So I also had to train myself to stretch that time and not feel that discomfort. So go slow. It does take time, and it's not overnight. And it's a bit like you practicing for any other big job, like a marathon. You can't just expect yourself to be able to do such a hard thing. So with slow increments, you will be able to stretch your time in a day and focus on something different, which is researching on which area you would like to run your business, or what are the good coaches in that area, or who are my idols or people I like to follow. So little bit by little bit, and then you can stretch the time even further. So if I have 1 hour in that Saturday, I let's say pay a babysitting or whatever, what can I do in that 1 hour? And you do 10 things. You would like to send 5 emails, you would like to make one phone call, and you would like to I don't know, research on your favorite topic. So that hour goes quickly, but you moved yourself from not knowing where to go a little bit further, a little bit further. And the second thing is the consistency, right? So if you create a little habit, and over time you can start building a little bit more. So don't kill it at the beginning, just expecting that, oh, in 3 months' time I'll be earning $10,000 from my passion. Like it's probably a little bit slower if you have children. But the beginning is the consistency and the small changes, which the family can deal with, if you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah, that's
And
great.
adjust to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So start small and just
Mm-hmm.
progression is key.
Consistent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if you could go back and give yourself advice at the beginning of your journey, what would you say to yourself?
Mm-hmm. I actually keep all my workshops and all my work like me at the back of my mind, like what would I like to hear? So it's a lot of what I do, just tapping into that moment. And this would be perfect if I hear it back then, like about, the uh, confidence or other things. But what was most transformational for me is not to be afraid to look at the things you're scared of, because even the fear is just a sensation in your body. And if you look at it like that, you can work with it. And if there are things you're resisting or scared of, that just means you need a little help with someone. So I was, for example, scared of public speaking. And I realized that it just means I don't have the resource. It doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means that I have to pay more attention to how my body feels in that situation, breathe through it, or maybe have a tapping session or a therapist who is patient enough to unpack what is it I'm scared of. Is it the feedback? Is it the heartbeat? Or, just slow things down and find the answers to what exactly is it I'm scared of. So not be scared of your fears, because they not that here to stop you. They just here as to provide you with a continuous growth and work on yourself. And a lot of the times, the parts which we the most scared of are the parts where we experience the most growth. So yeah, public speaking blocked me from going on a podcast or be a coach or have a workshop in a public. And there I realized actually it's not as scary. I can do it. I can enjoy that. And even though it was a journey, being scared of it wasn't the final answer. I was also scared um, of success. And I was thinking, why is that? Why do I want to be small? Why do I want to play it small? So with that curiosity and with someone being patient to guide you through that process, even in your scared parts, you can find the light and the wisdom, which is, yeah, guiding you to become more and to grow continuously. So that would be advice for myself, not to be scared to go to those um, let's say unhealed parts or wounded parts of myself, because that's where you realize the real gems, the real
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. It's by going to doing things which is out of your comfort zone.
100%.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's ultimately what leads to the greatest growth. So yeah, fantastic
Have you
thing.
experienced something similar on your journey?
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. It's I'm a big risk taker anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'll always go outside my comfort zone because it's just the way that I've always been. And I think it started when I decided to travel the world on my own. It's nothing
Mm-hmm.
none of my family had ever done. I just needed to do it. And oh wow, did I travel, and I feel like for me that was a big turning point in my life because it just gave me that confidence that oh my God, I really can go outside of,
Yes.
the norm and be and do what I want to. And it really, yeah, it totally impacted my whole life. I went on and I invested, I wrote my book and I started this podcast. So and, they're all risks, aren't they?
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're the light and inspiration for others. Yeah, that it can be done. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ivana. Wow. I could listen to you for hours. You're just the way that you describe everything, like is really really clear and thank you so much for that. And I'm sure my listeners will resonate with you as well.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah. And where can they find you then? So if somebody wishes to work with you.
Mhm. So I think the links will be able to put under the videos. So it would be my website, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as Ivana Care Coach. So that would be where I put some pieces of the wisdom and some quotes and invitation for my workshops as well. So we can start there. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. I shall do that. Yes. And
Oh, awesome.
thank you. And my listeners, please do connect with Ivana. I'm sure she would appreciate having you, having a talk with you and maybe, having you on her socials as well. And if you have any questions about this episode, then please do drop us a line. It's always great to hear from you all. And thank you, Ivana, again.
This was
Oh,
awesome. Thanks so much.
thank you. Yeah, beautiful people. I look forward to seeing you all in the next show. Until then, stay blessed.